Hello, dear Fox News and Mr. Waters and Waters World and Trinity College. I've been asking for help because a whole bunch of people in intercities recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed before the World Trade Center attack. They had collusions with Dean Judd and his family and a whole bunch of people with the intelligence at next to Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut. That is also increasingly involved with strangers, for example, where and how they have little boys and little girls influence to say things, time to other people to make it look like they know them. And then if people have to speak bad about them, a whole bunch of boys that lie to the girls at the same time and put fake ties to other boys. And girls, they're hurting the boys and girls sickly distinctly where they're putting fake transcripts in the databases at each campus we go to. But they also have roles with worse natures of organized crimes at the same time and use/s of that recorded relative. Like, for example, there's the breaching methods use of it interstates, intercolonies, and there were roles with it. So there were uses of it. And there's slash uses of it because the whole nature of people with positive treatments and negative treatments. They're recorded tactical terrors from what could defend that and afford what our founders actually left declassified for us to communicate, appreciate it properly. Many tied to it as a Joshua Stryker have roles with a whole bunch of names from Trinity College in a line all to Hartford Hospital and next to it. It's a Hartford Hospital is a campus note. Involved also on off the state judicial branches and conjunctions to it, increasingly involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders against me. All along Route 3 in conjunctions to it and to that, and the state corrections offices. Are people involved also with wire crime acts and methods, with and mail crime acts and methods, with the Wethersfield judicial branch offices too. Involved also with campuses like Hartford Hospital put fake conversations with me with a bunch of people tied to a Darth Vader, involved with some untimely deaths, with people like a Robert Rodriguez and people tied to and others tied to this Joshua Stryker at Trinity College, and former Mayor Gold with a Joe Aiello and a Christopher Cullen. Other people with the name Cullen have been planting evidences with people involved with sexual medical offenders, body dumping spots, and mayors from Wethersfield involved with putting fake things in databases at each campus I went to and names next to it involved. Increasingly involved. I never had a class with Joe Aiello. I never saw him on a campus. He tried to make a fake exception when I was after he graduated, and that was with his sister. And they were confessing and demonstrating she has intimate ties with some guy with the Hartford next to Trinity College with the fire department. Increasingly, people with the fire department, I don't know their names of it all, have been pretending passions and emotions with a Joe Aiello and his family members making up fake things and fake ties to me, fake motivations for it. As people next to Hartford Hospital, also with the name, there's a, a bunch of people. Lenny Triglia and his mother, years later, she sought me out as a stranger. I didn't even tell my mother. The people that knew my mother, and in other words, they've been putting fake things in databases and like spying on me with people interstates too, involved with the World Trade Center attack with the Saudi attackers. Before I even knew my Saudi friend, with the ones with the Wethersfield police, with some and Eric Mendez. He has an older brother who attached me to fake conversations with themselves at the police station as an adult and as a kid. They arose a whole bunch of other officers who did that too. And the kids who did speak with them there, they put them fake ties, fake nature ties to me and their roles with all work criminal enterprises, private ones in a whole bunch of different countries, involved as ones involved with the subjects and more, involved like, for example, of Judge Napolitano's Judging Freedom YouTube channel. These are also police forums that jump in into involve themselves with the value of what is said on social media, on digital media, over the World Wide Web. They're changing and faking it and valuing that being and having been done. And specifically to get away with when they get caught, they already had it done. There are only three branches of government. It's recorded how they keep their family members criminally foreign influence tactically delusions wrought, and how they're keeping the names of the people of the sciences, and the names like coaches, and the names of the people of sports, the names of the people of entertainment, how they are keeping them self-valued rules with criminal and seditious nature as theater, replacing what our founders and what nature itself communicates with black people's rights of eyes. So there's a officer used the name Darth Vader with the phones at Trinity College. Increasingly, they're involved with families from the Britain Police Department and Newington Police Departments, involved also with people with the name D. Simone, involved with sexual and medical offenders of kids at Harvard Hospital, and with Newington Police Department, with Wethersfield Police Chiefs retired and their intimate ties, involved with the same House/S, and people tied to their extended family members further with the World Trade Center attack, and names added, and including ones with the name Keene, are increasingly involved with people tied to body doubling spots, and fake ties, fake natures ties to me, confessions tied to that. And as people tied to people with the name Dylan, involved with the Hartford Hospital, with a bunch of people involved also with Parks and Recreation, involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders, all kinds of falsified police reports, and roles with collusions with news, WFSB, tasked me to fake conversations with themselves and with others. As mixed natures of organized crimes, they have collusions with that. And with fake conversations about the World Trade Center attack. And they changed and faked what others said about that. And I was in the Ninth Circuit Court as an observer next to the World Trade Center towers right before the attack. And I know they changed the date of legally, timely handed into the court legal papers. But then it was proven afterwards that right before the World Trade Center attack, shown to the panel of judges, were legal papers that they changed the date to make them look as if they were handed in late to the Ninth Circuit Court in Manhattan, right next to the World Trade Center towers, right before the attack. And the names involved with that are involved interstates and intercities and intra-cities, as people on off the state judicial branch offices and corrections offices, increasingly with houses and people tied to them, involved with Trinity College, with digital crimes and wire crimes, also with whiting forensics, a bunch of people, and foreign and domestic military. These are names also with the corrections officers, judicial branch officers named Cololo and DeMoro, and people tied to them. Also with military, someone who said his name is Dave, tried to make a fake exception among me. In other words, one time they made a fake exception real quick. He handed me a guitar. I didn't even respond to him. And he said, "We'll do that." I handed it back to him. You know what I mean? And we left. That was to make a fake exception of knowing me. And sequence shifts. As people were increasingly involved with wire crime acts and methods with Wethersfield police and courts, increasingly with whole methods I recorded, and them hiding this from parents, where they use the right to lie, where they don't have the right to lie. Increasingly, these are names next to Hartford Hospital, and line from there all the way to UPS. United Parcel Service has a bunch of people involved through time with the sides of Central Connecticut State University, and with Eric Oliveri and others who sought me out from other areas to confess, record, demonstrate, confirm. And Joshua Stryker is involved with them and their educators, putting fake things in databases and lying to people in my family about me with my educators, and putting me in fake communications with my family members about murders and body dumping spots. I didn't even communicate with them about it. I've been trying to communicate about it online. They're fishing for what I say to try to fake it and change it and make pretend they've already been lying to my family since I was a kid, with the interbranch refusing to get on paper since I was a kid. The Britain Superior Court has a bunch of people involved intercities, planting evidences next to all natures of crime scenes and campuses. Increasingly, people since before the Clinton administration, they have roles with the corners on Highcrest Street, but involves also with the Clinton administration and people. involved with the Democratic theme, Republican themed, and the difference of that racket's roles. Because while they're defending their roles with that, they're screening and being used to sense that not discerned is the breaching method, even though it's clearly discernible. Clearly discernible is the torture method, the extortion method, the factory nature, slavery method of the people waving flags and protesting and burning things in California. Sickly, distinctly victims from the people who are forced to respond to try to make that nature of stability, that nature of peace that is still criminal insidious in its nature. The suburbs were designed by a breaching method before America's founders were born. There were homes that are still standing, and they wanted to build better and safer then. On a mass scale, we are reliant upon means to eat and thirst only if we entertain natures of private criminal enterprises, timed collusions with overt criminal enterprises, the branches of government left criminally foreign influence standing criminal and citizens' natures, incapable of defending that and affording to discern properly why there's a witch trial house next to Webb House and what that's about. And where and how slavery was entrenched, northern colonies, southern colonies, simultaneously. You don't leave that out. And where and how the breaching method was still and is still exploiting the differences between Native American A through Z as systems and through systems entertain tactical terror from human species body of individual body systems. Hyper-native pure. So it's important their difference. Hyper-native. I mean native. In other words. Because president and chief too, they have failed, even the presidents and chiefs, to discern because of their campuses why and how our founders' communications are replaced, and our founders being and why and how the experts that were supposed to know this, they're forcing it, pretending that's debatable, and keeping everyone pretending it's debatable, which divorces self-valued, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions, raw, factual nature, quality aspects of nature regarding American history's principles, and then pretending not to realize it and screening it and the actual motivations. Got to focus on that. Got to focus on that breaching method. Recorded, replaced, right from what nature communicates and how from what our founders actually declassified for us to communicate. So, in other words, a whole bunch of people tied to he said there's a Craig Oliveri, is his brother's name. I never had a conversation with never had a word of conversation with a Craig Oliveri or a Joshua Stryker. They're trying to set me up with people with the state judicial branch offices and with UPS, recorded also with Facebook, pretending to legitimately interpret what I said on Facebook while they were leaking things. They sought me out as complete stranger. I never tried to seek them out. They recorded planting evidences with a whole bunch of other people too. They don't even know about that, and they're educators. And they said reportedly he was in the only class I had with Eric Oliveri is increasingly with a whole bunch of people at Trinity College involved with the Joshua Stryker again, involved putting fake things in the databases and lying about himself and me to people I don't even know the names of that know my name, and people at Trinity College. A Dean Judd, recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, is also involved with the daughters, them with the daughter of co-defendants, various natures of federal criminals tied to a former director of the F.B.I, Robert Luskin, and their kids, and the neighbors of their neighbors are involved with all kinds of drugs and medicines, crimes, untimely deaths, murders, uses of body dumping spots, names next to it. All these things brought up at the same time: news, identity theft, fraud, slanders, interbranch, forging, switch games, fabricating, police reports, fake conversations with me. Same time. Same ones that with the wire crime acts and methods with the judicial branch offices, with the Wethersfield police and the judicial branch office grouped predicate act methods, wire crime methods, roles, collusions. Whole bunch of educators tied to Stephen Stocka, and neighbors of Maria Fazina, And Asa Maria Pazina, I never saw her on a Weathersfield campus in my life. Stephen Stocko is one of the ones recording, confessing, demonstrating, confirming he's involved with her and her neighbors and with him and with his educators with Central Connecticut State University. Also involved with the FBI director and courts, family members with identity theft, fraud, slanders, and with people on all sides of Central Connecticut State University in New Britain, Connecticut, with these ones from Weathersfield next to the state corrections offices and judicial branch offices, next to the state judicial branch offices like Weathersfield Pizza House, involved with wire crimes, and fake ties to me, fake nature ties to me with this, and evidences crimes, identity theft, frauds with this Stephen Stocko. I don't even know what he said to the Weathersfield police yet, but they're forging and switching names. They're recording, confessing, demonstrating, confirming they have him involved too. And he's pretending they won't get on paper one name in sequence. They have intercities roles with this. And more two proven child abusers, leaders of the kids, years apart, one's first forced, roles with people like that, with things like that involved. It's important to get them on paper, one name in sequence. Please, Mr. Waters from Waters World, whole bunch of people tied to a Ray Collo, also recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed. Rules putting fake ties, fake days, lying to my family about me and my educators behind my back with his educators, putting fake and changed evidences, sequence shifts, falsified police reports, roles, identity theft, fraud, slanders, collusions with names on all sides of criminal and civil cases, and the names of the courts, like the Britain Superior Court has roles with that, with names also interstates and next to the World Trade Center towers. In other words, they need to get on paper one name in sequence. There's a bunch I want to talk about, but we have to get any one of those things intercities brought up at the same time onto paper. They're delaying time and they're putting fake things in databases and showing that there are all kinds of election crimes recorded, but they showed the fake things even to the presidents and the equivalent fake transcripts. In other words, get them on paper, one name in sequence. I have to remember that person's name. Lenny Triglio. Where is Lenny Triglio? What's your mother's name, Lenny Triglio? Someone figure out where Lenny Triglio works and what people are doing along Route 3 involved with these people, with the judicial branch offices, also with more child abusers, leaders, kids years apart, but more involved too with the people with this Delafair family too, and someone with a red pickup truck. And more involved with a blue van and home breaking's relative.